Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, continuing Nicola's route. Now Nicola is gone, just left us, and went to Rome to go poke Raoul in jail. Anyway, and to meet Emilio. So, there was that. Dante returned to the manor shortly after dinner. But we get to stare at Dante, so I'm not going to complain. Welcome back, Dante. He looks very mad at us. What did I do? For some reason, he didn't seem to be in a good mood. Yeah, I get that. A guest will be arriving soon. I'm afraid I must ask you to join us at his request. Me? What are you talking about? I don't think it's Yang. It's probably Teo? Unless it's Emilio. Before long, a familiar figure sauntered into the living room. Sauntering. I know him. I wasn't expecting Gil. I'm afraid you have to be here. And it's like, he seems concerned. And it's Gil. Okay. Gil? You're Dante's guest? Yeah, was not expecting it to be Gil. Dante sighed exasperately and took a seat. His face, he's like, oh. I really don't want you to have to listen to this conversation. You're talking to your underboss's woman. She has a right to be in the know. What happened? There have been a number of murders in town lately, all with similar wounds on their bodies. Oh, we know about this. Okay. Maybe that's why Dante's been running all over town recently. Is this where you find out it's Yang? I think the culprit's the same person who hit the Visconti. They slunk into hiding before, but now they're as good as toast. We don't know how many people we're dealing with, just that the death toll's rising. You be careful, you hear? Will, thank you for letting me know. Didn't we already have this conversation about the Visconti and the casino being the same thing? Weren't we? I mean, look, I know we as the reader / player know, but wasn't she in that conversation? Like with Nicola? I feel like we were. I hope everyone at the church is safe. My expression clouded as I thought of them. Dante must have noticed because he spoke about the very thing on my mind. The Falzone family is guarding the church. In any case, I doubt the church is their target. Yeah, if anything, the ones who need to watch their backs are the folks in this room. Please be careful, Dante. Gil. Can't lose you like we lost Oliver. I need to drink every time we play this fucking route because it just makes me sad that Oliver's dead. The ominous outlook cast a pall on our evening. Yeah, that cast a pall on my evening too, reminding me of Oliver. My chest hurts. Still, I was grateful that they informed me about what was happening around town. Again, we kind of already knew. After lunch the next day, I was reading a book when the phone suddenly rang. Seeing no one else was around, I went to answer it myself. Hello? Space? Perfect. I'm so happy to hear your voice. Nicola! I thought you might be in the living room around this time. I should be home soon. I really want to see you. Lonely without you. Aww! I am too. Is everything okay over there? The last time you called, it sounded like you were preoccupied with something. I was just trying to holding myself back. God damn it, fucking Tim! Jesus! I was just trying to hold myself back. Hearing your voice even for that moment made me want to leave Rome right away so that I could be with you again. You can't imagine how much I want to hold you. Okay, right now, this little bit, this is good. Okay, this is what we need more of, thanks. Hearing Nicola's voice in my ear was making my heart race. I really want to see you too. So please, be careful on the journey home. And got it. Be a good girl and stay safe. My heart was still racing even after setting the receiver back down. The news about the deaths in town had rattled me since last night, but I felt much better now. I can't wait to see him again. I took a deep breath to calm myself down from the excitement. I heard his voice. Ah! I'm all a tither. Look at that room. It's swanky. I like it. I mean, it's plain, but I like the curtains, like, and stuff. That's what makes it swanky. Like, on that little archway. Our phone call felt too short. My love for her grew with each passing second. Almost done with everything that needs to be done here, but there was one important thing I still needed to purchase. A ring? Oh! Oh! Okay, I feel the spark now. It's gonna fade away, don't worry, but like... Okay, the little things. The forehead kisses is like, and then these little conversations. It's just there's not enough of it. And then we go back to like, oh yeah, no, it's gone. You know? It's like they start. Like it's like trying to start a lighter, but you know, you're like clicking in, and it's like not quite, it's like, but it fizzles out. It's not, you're not quite getting the flame. That's happening here. It hadn't even been a week. Nicola called to tell me he'd be returning home this evening. It was all a flutter just thinking about it. We better get some fucking action. Again, I don't want to read it in graphic detail, but, you know, allude to it. I'd been baking for Nicola since morning, trying on the dress that he gave me and straightening my hair over and over again. I was carried away with anticipation. Hope no one's noticed the state I've been in all day. I just couldn't control myself. They haven't noticed because they've also been in that state, because you know Dante is like also fixing his hair and putting on his best hat. The thought of sitting quietly in my room seemed impossible, so I decided against it. I found Gil and Dante in the living room. Why is Gil back here again? Hey, Signorina. You know, you've always been a beauty, but you're drop-dead gorgeous today. I bet Nicola will swoon as soon as he sees you. Thank you, Gil. I heard that his work in Rome went smoothly. He's been working non-stop, so I'll have him take a break once he returns. The look on Dante's face is like, I'll let him take a break. Wingman Dante, I love it. If left unattended, Nicola will always find some work to do, so I must ask that you detain him so he doesn't fall back into the habit. Oh, Dante. Are you sure? I might not want to give him back. Well, you're his lover. He's all yours. I eagerly awaited Nicola's arrival, feeling that it couldn't come fast enough. That took much longer than I'd hoped. I'm sure she's worried sick by now. Our car hit a large tree root near the forest surrounding Berlone. With no other option, I had my men take care of the car while I set off on foot to town. Out of nowhere, I sensed someone moving behind me. I quickly turned around and drew my gun. I leaned back as the curved tip of a blade flashed right past my eyes. Yang! Got hit. It has to be fucking Yang. I'm doing the Yang voice because that's what I feel. So if I'm wrong, it's okay. If I'm wrong, I don't want to be right if it's not Yang. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be right that it's Yang, but if it's not Yang, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But anyway. Very well done, Francesca. I'd have killed any other person. I hope you'll stay alive long enough to entertain me. Yeah, right. I thought you were supposed to be dead. I told you! Oh! This is like the best! I knew it! Ah! I love it! And didn't I say this, like, what, some couple parts ago or whatever, was like, when it's revealed that it's Yang, it's like, you know it is, like, 80% sure. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of doubt. You're like, they're gonna be somebody else, but it doesn't make any sense. And, like, it has to be Yang. But you knew when the reveal came, it was just gonna be so exciting. Even though I was waiting for it, it's still exciting. His eyes glimmered in the darkness like a hungry tiger's. It's not as though you killed me yourself. That is true. From now on, I'll make no assumptions unless you die by my own hands. Agreed. I quickly pulled the trigger and moved back. I only have a few shots remaining. One-on-one against Yang. I doubt it'll give me any time to reload. And not only that, but I was already injured. While I avoided his attack, his blade grazed my arm, drawing blood. It was my trigger arm! If I wasn't careful, it'd be all over here. I quickly leapt into a nearby alley. A fine choice, Francesca. Blood was trickling down my arm to my hand. I managed to regain my grip before the gun slipped from it. I couldn't get my body to move the way I wanted, but I noticed that Yang wasn't moving as quickly as usual. He's dragging his leg. To think of it. A man covered in red all over, walking out of a big house just before the fire. Apparently it looked like one of his legs didn't work. Gilbert's words echoed vividly in my mind. Despite his injury, his speed was unmatched by any man. That same was not the case for me. What next, Francesca? Do you plan to have me die of old age? I don't think old age will kill you. Nothing has killed you so far. I love this. He raised his blades as he closed the distance. With a swift kick to his side, I managed to divert the trajectory of his aim. Saved myself from decapitation and instead suffered a deep gash to my shoulder. Yang seemed to be holding back a fit of laughter. The view from where I stood looked bleak. Eating too much. In comes Orlock? At this rate, that wouldn't last long. I've seen my share of people die, not from their simple wounds, but from bleeding out. Is that all? Are you finished? Yang gave a smirk as he raised his weapon. I couldn't believe my eyes. Told you. I mean, seriously. Orlock. The young man in a familiar coat struck back against Yang. The young man was my informant. Don't get in my way. Yang's voice is just off today. I don't know, I'm sorry, but anyway. Yang took a swing at him, but Orlock parried the blade yet again. Run, Nicola. Can't just leave you here alone. Disciple of the church. I've spent my life fighting. Don't worry. Orlock's little fucking smirk right now is just adorable as he's about to fucking, like, just slash and just fuck up Yang. Like, look at, he's just like, it's just so cute. He's just so adorable. And he's about to murder someone, basically. Like, Helio's given me his orders. If anything, your presence is only a hindrance. We'll talk again later once you're back. Understood. I'm in no mood to play with you. But if you insist, make it worth my while, master disciple. Yang's smile broadened as he resumed his onslaught against Orlock. As I turned my back to escape, I heard his voice call out to me. You'll be next, Francesca. And after that will be Falzone. Will you be pleased to know your woman will follow? I knew he was trying to provoke me. The thought of it alone was too much, and it took all my restraint not to take the bait. I staggered out of the alley, somehow still alive against all odds. Desperately dragged myself back to the manor as my body grew heavier with each step. Damn! So good! I wonder if something happened. Nicola said he'd be back by evening, but it was now well into the night. I sat at my window looking into the darkness when I noticed his shadow approaching the gate. I quickly ran out of my room. Also, why is it you'd be like, he's walking up to the gate? There's something wrong. Welcome home, Nick. I bounded toward him with excitement when I suddenly lost my voice. His body was drenched in blood. Nicola! My voice escaped me in a scream. I ran to him as fast as I could. Why would you, like, not be shot? Like, when you see him walking up, I mean, I guess you're like, oh, yeah, he's home! And then something in your head is like, why isn't he coming in the car? Oh, look, we got a CG, finally. Oh, we always get a bloody one. Aww. The moment I reached him, I felt a shuddering as his body gave out slightly. I held him tightly in my arms. Oh, but look, he struggled so hard to get back to us. Nicola's body was limp and injured. Space. I did my best to hold him up as he hardly had any strength remaining. I feel his blood wetting my hands. He's bleeding badly. There wasn't much time. Nicola, I'll get the doctor! I'm so sorry. I'm late. His strained voice made my heart ache. Oh, poor baby. I embraced him as tightly as I could, careful not to hurt him. Don't worry about that. You're here now, and that's all that matters. Praying that his warmth wouldn't leave me, I walked him to the manor, holding him with all the strength I could offer when he had none. He'll be fine! Come on, I'm not worried. He's not gonna die in his own route. That's stupid. Oh, we're at chapter 6, though. Shit. Okay. Well, this is the end. I mean, the last chapter. I stayed by Nicola's side all night without a single moment of sleep. Soon the light of the morning appeared through the window. After Nicola came home last night, we called for a doctor to treat his wounds. I wanted to take him to the hospital, but since we still don't know who attacked him, he'll be far safer here than in the hospital. Oh, that's true. He's probably, unconscious, so we have no idea. I understood what Dante meant, but it still worried me that more couldn't be done. My own capacity to help was limited. I knew that well enough, but I still couldn't bear to be apart from him now. Feeling unsettled, I could only watch as he slept. Just as I was wondering if I had imagined it, Nicola's eyes slowly opened. Nicola! Thank goodness! Nicola? I thought you were an angel from heaven. Stop it, Nicola! It's not time for you to go to heaven. I'd heard men use that expression before, but hearing it from Nicola in this moment shook me for different reasons. You're like, also, you wouldn't be going to heaven, sweetie. And can you ask Dante to come? I have something important to tell him. And you. But you're still hurt. Spacey stopped me before I could finish, looking up with an earnest expression. Be right back. I stood and left to call for Dante quickly. Upon my return, Nicola was sitting on the bed, having just changed his clothes. Dante urged him to lie down, but Nicola shook his head and spoke. I need to tell you as soon as possible, and the information I learned is very important. The Key Maiden can still break the seal to the relic, even if her partner is me. Of course, we won't know until we try, but it sounds credible. And the person I met was a priest by the name of Emilio. Emilio! Sorry, I shouldn't have screamed that as loud. Emilio didn't show up. It's more like, Emilio! He mentioned that as long as the Key Maiden's mark hasn't disappeared, she still has the right to break the seal. The mark on my chest is actually much darker than before. He's like, that's because every time I fuck you, it gets darker. Suddenly, the door to the room opened. Orlock? I was taken aback by his sudden appearance. Seeing me, Orlock bowed politely, then turned his attention to Nicola. Sorry, Nicola. Got away. Nah, you were the one in danger. Well, actually, you look fine. As expected of a disciple of the church. A disciple? I came here to explain in detail. I am a disciple of the church. Oh, we didn't know that in Nicola's route? Okay. My job as an informant is merely my outward profession. We disciples are tasked with various missions. Mine's to protect the relic that lies in Berlone, Rivers of the Grave, and the Key Maiden. His sudden disclosure made me fall silent. I'm like, I'm just learning all sorts of shit still! That I should have learned in the first game, but whatever. I knew there was more to you than meets the eye, and the information you provided me has always been beyond any ordinary informants. I wonder how you were able to lead me to someone as well-versed in Berlone's lore as Emilio. With his eyes still on Orlock, Nicola continued in a more serious tone. Emilio! They told me that another priest who had known about the Key Maiden was killed. He suspects that was how the story was leaked. I believe Teo was involved in his murder. Teo? I'm unsure of Teo's objective in resorting to such violent means to extract information. I'd love to hear him explain for himself. The warmth had long left his voice, and he turned to look at me somewhat disconcertedly. He seems to have some sort of affinity toward you. So it may be too early to label him an enemy yet. It may too early, by the way. God damn it, Tim! Fucking learn to type! You've just sucked this whole route! Seriously, there have been the most typos in this route. And then again, we certainly can't call him an ally. Well, what I can say is that his grudge against the Felzone family is more than apparent. His origins are still a mystery to me. Which I don't know if we'll fully find out because we still have Dante, and Dante's part of the Felzone family. So you know what I'm saying? He appeared to be turning it over in his mind, and Dante picked up where Nicola left off. I appreciate your report, Nicola. Now I'll have to ask you to rest. We can talk again later. No, it's also important that we need to find out who attacked you. You need to tell us about Yang. No, I can still... No. Orlock, would you mind telling me more about your work as a disciple, as well as about the person who got away? Understood. So I think it's for the best that Nicola rests for now. Orlock calmly spoke to emphasize Dante's order to Nicola, then followed Dante out of the room. Nicola, you heard them, didn't you? Spacey, can I tell you something? What is it? The morning sunlight illuminated his face as he spoke. While I was at the church, I was told that human will can defy what we've inherited. Regardless of the path we were expected to walk, you and I came together as a choice, of our own free will. When you and I felt for each other, it wasn't because it was preordained from the start. Nicola, I wanted to relay that to you as soon as I could, and knowing this was just as important to me as the relic. Love was not a duty we needed to fulfill. It was an emotion born in our hearts. He dragged himself back here with the last of his strength to return to me and tell me this. My heart was filled with even more love. I mean, that is kind of romantic and beautiful. Nicholas spoke my name quietly, but said nothing more. I moved closer to him in response. He slowly raised his arm up and gently rested his hand against my cheek. I placed my hand over his, so grateful to feel his touch again, more than ever. I missed you. Too. Come home, Nicola. Glad to be back. And alive! Interrupt! Ooh. Others. How surprising indeed to hear from you. I muttered utterly at the newly arrived telegram. It seems he tore out his new master's throat. I did not expect you to stay quiet this long. Perhaps the brat was sending a message to warn me away from joining in the festivities. I let him run free for a while, but the rat's nest is no more. In addition, I've grown weary of pacifying the elders. I have no idea who this person is, because it's just question marks. So it's just really fun that he's got this fucking voice, because it makes no sense. The most I can give him is 6 months at best. You've broken almost all the toys that I've given you. This will be the last time that I indulge your selfish desires. I have no fucking idea. I mean, you've broken all the toys I mean, it almost sounds like it'd be Yuan, right? But, like, they just have it as question marks, so, like, I don't know who we're supposed to... I mean, I guess because technically you could do Nicola's route first. If you haven't been introduced to Yuan, they're not going to show you him, right? You know what I mean? Or, like, with Raoul, like, they got to introduce the kind of character the first time. But, like, I feel like this isn't the first time we've had a question mark character that we're like, I don't know, this random person is talking... I'm assuming it sounded like he was talking to Yang, right? But, like, I don't know. And then Tirati, whoever that is, anyway. I'm so very disappointed in you, Teo. The time that I gave you was more than sufficient. If you'll not make your move, then I shall. The military police should have no difficulty in arresting the Falzone family. Please, if you would only permit me more time, Signor Tirati. Don't tell me you're scared now. Or worse, will I eventually discover that your allegiance is now with the Mafia? I couldn't care less what happens to the Mafia, but... The fascists have tortured everyone connected to the Mafia, including their families and wives. Meaning, she would not be able to escape. I need results, and I need them now! Why is Teo trying to save me? I expect you to bring me the heads of their boss and their underboss on a silver platter! Fail me again, and I'll take matters into my own hands. It was my curiosity that drove me to approach her. I now realize what a terrible choice that was. Are you in love with me now? Not just our hair color, but even your eye color and mine are similar. Oh, but your eyes are much prettier than mine, especially since they're different colors. Huh? I've always admired them ever since we met. I'm in love with her, she said my eyes were pretty. Wow, Teo, you're fucking easy. Had I not spoken to her, I would not have hesitated to the extent that I have. Now all that I wanted was to ensure that, no matter what happened, she would be spared. In order for me to do that, I need to bring him his results. Are you, like, in love with me? That's, like, really fast. Everybody, like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Like, I I mean, the whole point of us being the main character in an Otome game is all the boys are... My milkshake is bringing all the boys to the yard. That's the whole fucking point, right? But, it's just a little odd that, like, Teo's like, you're like, hi! And he's like, oh, I'm in love with her now. Okay, what? Dude, seriously? Just, like, have you never seen a woman before? Maybe he hasn't. Never mind. It's fine. Glad to be back. He gave a weak smile. I leaned closer and kissed him gently. Oh. Orlock and Dante both looked up as I walked into the living room. Orlock must have been in the middle of explaining what Dante had requested earlier. How's Nicola? He's sleeping now. I think he was forcing himself through the pain to talk to us. I see. Orlock, you were just about to tell me you attacked Nicola. It's Yang of the Lao Shu. Wait, I thought he was dead. I can confirm that was him in the flesh. It seems he's been in hiding all this time. I intervened when I saw Nicola being attacked, but he escaped. With Yang's injured leg, I could have followed after him, except it struck one of the civilians nearby, so he needed to attend to them. I see. I understand what happened now. As Dante nodded, Orlock turned his attention back toward me. Now that you know who I am, I won't need to conceal my role here as a disciple. I'll keep watch over this place from now on so that Yang won't attack. You can rest assured. Why weren't you doing that to save Oliver? It wasn't his job to watch over the Visconti. I know, Orlock. I just had to be mad at somebody about Oliver, okay? I'm sorry. Bring it in. Hugs. Okay. All right, it's cool. We're fine. Thank you. Oh, I know. Why don't you stay here with us too, Orlock? Of course, I'll need to make sure Nicola's aware. She's right. We'd surely benefit from your expertise and be in a far better position if you were to stay with us. However, please know that we won't force you. You have your own work, so you're free to decide whatever's best. Orlock's eyes moved as he thought, and soon he responded with a hint of reluctance. Well, don't mind. I can stay sometimes, if necessary. Look, he's blushing. That's so adorable. I do love Orlock as a character. Not a love interest, but as a character. You know what I mean? And all I'm just thinking is he's all embarrassed by this, and it's just giving me flashbacks to, like, Oliver feeding him and being like, oh, Orlock just being so fucking embarrassed by it. Oh, now I'm sad about Oliver again. I'm always sad about Oliver, okay? I'm never gonna not be sad about Oliver. He looked down at his feet, perhaps embarrassed by saying something so brazen. It was such an innocent and vulnerable expression. Think that someone like him was able to fend off an opponent who had brought Nicola to the brink of death. Tougher than he looks, that's why everybody underestimates him. Got a sweet little baby face. Following Nicola's return were surprisingly peaceful and uneventful days. Gil came for a visit at Dante's request, but since Nicola hadn't yet fully recovered, Dante and I were the ones explaining to Gil what happened. It was Yang. He's like, the fuck? So all the bodies we found with similar wounds, they were from Yang's hooks all along. Who knew that guy would still be alive? Yang appears to be using the same weapons as before. It's safe to assume he was the one who attacked the Visconti manor and the casino. Even now, he's still able to take down enemies without any assistance. Be careful and keep an eye out for your men. Thanks for the info. You guys be careful too. There's no telling who that lunatic will strike next or where. So far, things have been quiet, which is good. I thought to myself as I carried the tray of food up to Nicola's room. So far, things have been quiet. That doesn't bode well. Nicola, I brought... Oh, Nicola. No, you need to rest! Nicola was not only out of bed, but he was already changed into his usual work attire. But I have work to do. No! Dante said no work! Perhaps realizing there was no use resisting, Nicola gave a troubled smile. His eyes fell to the tray in my hands. You made all this? Yes, I learned the recipe from Julia. I was able to share with him the happy news that Bartolo had finally permitted me use of the kitchen. I had to tie him up and beat him, but it's whatever. I'll have some then. After that, I suppose, it'll be straight to bed like a good patient. Oh, that's right. My arm's still rather sore, so it'd be nice if you could feed me. You were going to work with a sore arm? Not all work requires arms, especially sore ones. Really now? As Nicola sat himself down in bed with a grin on his face, I picked up a fork from the tray. Here you go. Do you want the airplane, the choo-choo, the horsey? Is that a thing? I don't know. I just know the airplane and the choo-choo, but the horsey just popped in my head. You're welcome. Or I'm sorry, I'm not really sure. Each time I brought the fork to Nicola's mouth, he obediently took a bite. He seemed so relaxed in contrast to me. I get it, like if your right arm was injured, it'd be hard, but you could still kind of eat left-handed. I'm just saying. Because if you're eating something with a fork and a knife, the proper way is like you cut it with your right, use the knife in your right hand, and then you're eating with your left hand, so. I'm just saying, you could manage. He's being a bitch. Obviously. And we're just going along with it. We're like, alright, fine, whatever. This feels so strange. It really does, but it's kind of funny. I was suddenly very conscious about even the slightest shaking of my hand. Very conscious about even the slightest shaking of my hand. Wow. I'm happy you still have an appetite. Nicola had dutifully finished his whole lunch. I hope this means your recovery is going well, but you still need to rest. And don't worry, my wounds are just about closed, and even the doctor said I'm doing fine. Still, you know, I've been fighting all my life. You haven't forgotten, have you? I wanted to object, but I knew he was telling the truth. Seeing that he really was faring much better than before, I decided to tell him something. Nicola, I had a discussion with Gil while you were gone. Gilbert? He told me how dangerous it is to be with someone in the Mafia. He asked me if I really understood that. Nicola's like, I don't want to deal with this. I know the dangers of being involved with someone in this particular world. I've also known a long time that you're someone to be reckoned with. You're in the Mafia, and you'll kill the people you need to kill. But as scary as that sounds, I still want to be with you forever, Nicola. It's kind of funny because, I mean, like, in this one, she's like, you're gonna kill people. And, like, whatevs. You gotta kill who you gotta kill, bro. But, like, I don't feel like she had that opinion in, like, Gil's route. Like, and it's funny because Gil's the one's like, listen, Mafia people kill people. You gotta be aware of that. And, like, in his own route, he wasn't like, you know I kill people, right? Like, he was just like, what? I mean, like, I just run guns. What up? Talk about that shit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny that he's, like, in this route being like, you've got to be able to accept that. And in his route, he was like, we don't talk about that shit. Like, wasn't open about talking his, like, murderous ways. You know what I'm saying? Huh. Interesting, Gilbert. Interesting. He's just trying to make us be, I can't believe Nicola would kill people. And then we run into his arms. I see what he's doing. It might have worked. Nicola opened his mouth as if to say something, but he closed it again and sat in silence. After a moment, he slowly began to speak with determination in his voice. I've done all I can to keep you away from the danger that surrounds us. No, you have. You've done everything in your power to protect me in more ways than one. I don't want you to see me all... I don't want you to see me all the dirty work behind what I do. What the fuck, Tim? Jesus. I'm assuming me shouldn't be in there. I don't want you to see all the dirty work behind what I do. That makes a little sense. Like, more than, you know, anyway. I didn't want you to see the ugly side of the Mafia. Because you thought I'd be scared? And that too, but beyond that, I didn't want you to hate me. Huh? I didn't do more than blink in that moment. I don't mind being hated. I don't need to be understood. I've lived my life this way all these years. But I can't bear the thought of you hating me. I want you to trust in me. I'd never hate you. I protested loudly at the sight of his anguish. He looked back at me with a weak smile, his eyes revealing just how fragile he felt. In any case, I'm a liar and a murderer. I know I'm not worthy of your trust. You keep saying shit like this. The murderer part, yeah, but... Still, you've trusted me and believed in me. You've never once given me a reason to doubt you, but I just couldn't stop worrying. I mean, the being a murderer part, I was like, well, yeah, you're in the Mafia, but I'm a liar. I'm a liar. It's like, okay, but see, here's the thing. I'm a murderer. Yeah, I mean, you murder, but you're in the mafia. I trust that you're not going to murder me, right? But when you're like, I'm a liar, that, like, implies that you're going to lie to me. I don't like that. You know, it's weird that the association's there. I'm a liar. Oh, so you're going to lie to me? No, not you. Oh, okay, but I don't trust that. I'm a murderer. I trust that you're not going to murder me. It's fine. I mean, maybe someday if I cross the line and I start sleeping with Dante, they're going to get revenge. But, like, you know, as long as I toe the line, I'm fine. Yeah, whatever. But, like, in Nicola's case, I trust he's not going to murder me. But, like, when he keeps saying he's a liar, it's like, you're not making me trust that you're not going to lie to me, though, you know? I know. It's the same as when you've had to harm others. I know it weighs on you endlessly. I won't ask you to tell me everything. But I want you to know you don't need to hide anything from me. I love you, Nicola. I want to support you in any way I can. It was my one and only wish. Nicola took in a deep breath and sighed to calm himself before speaking again. Say, Signorina, do you remember when I said it was more than enough to have you waiting for me at home? Yes, I remember. For me, it's more than enough to have a cute wife like you waiting for me at home. We had to flash back to that. It was literally the thing he just fucking asked. Nicola took my hand and gave it a good squeeze. I really did think that was more than enough for me back then. But if I can ask you for just a little more... His eyes were terribly earnest as he looked at me. Please don't hate me. Please trust me. I will protect you as long as I live. I'll devote my life to you. So please support me, Signorina. It's Nicola. Promise. I nodded firmly in response. Spacey. Nicola brought himself toward me, and the bed creaked a little. Our lips slowly came together, then Nicola held me and pulled me down beside him. Oh. No, Nicola! You're still recovering! I'm fine. I've been wanting to hold you for so long. Waiting ever since Rome. And you're just so lovable right now. Can't hold myself back much longer. How could I refuse when I wanted the same thing? The look in his eyes held me spellbound. It reignited my passion, which had been growing in his absence. Look, listen, I can do some of the work. You just lay there. It's fine. His shoulder got injured, and what else? I'm just saying. Arm and shoulder. It's fine. So your arm hurts, so you just leave there. I'll do the... It's... Okay. Let me know if it hurts. You're too kind, Signorina. Nicola chuckled as he looked at me lovingly. My cheeks flushed with warmth as I wrapped my arms around him. I'm just saying. He just lays back, you right on top. Don't make me read that. A few days passed, and Nicola was closer to a full recovery. He was able to leave his room now and enjoy a cup of coffee after breakfast. I heard Dante's going to be at the Falzone Manor today. Something about having work to do there. Yes, a dinner meeting with the consigliere, not to mention some paperwork that's been piling up. Dante's been busier than ever lately, despite my return, so I need to get back to it soon. Nicola reached out to his cup of espresso again, as though to distract himself from the thought of work. Seeing him prioritize his recovery was very reassuring. No. I'm worried. After having finished most of the paperwork, I breathed a deep sigh and stood from my chair. And there was still time until the dinner meeting. I left my office to take a break in the salon. Yang's showing up. I sensed something that immediately felt a pain surge through my arm. Oh no, it's Teo! Wow, that was... Okay, well, I was expecting Yang, but sure, okay. Huh. Looks like you're a boss that deserves the name. I thought for sure I'd be able to finish you off with that. In front of me was the priest who appeared before us at the church. What are you doing here, Teo? His movements had been swift and precise. Somehow avoided his full attack, but his blade still left a deep wound. He's like, God damn it! Now we're both one-armed men! I guess between him and Nicola, there's two hands. It was the side I used to hold my gun. We made another move now. It's simple. I came to exterminate the last of a useless family unable to deliver the relic. Theo shook the blood off his dagger with a single swipe of his blade, then charged toward me for the kill. Unable to fight back, I tried to dodge his attack when... Orlock? I mean, I hate that because Dante's like, I could shoot him, but he stabbed my shooting arm. You guys gotta learn to double fist it, is all I'm saying. Orlock? Orlock jumped between me and Teo to block the attack with his cross-shaped dagger. I see. The disciples on their side. Is that right, Orlock? Boss, what's the Boss! We're under attack! Get the others! Noticing the disturbance, my men quickly rushed in to help. However... Come forward if you dare! I'll kill you all one by one! Teo wielded his dagger with a war cry. Oh no, Leo! Oh no! Oh no! If Teo's there and then we're at Leo, oh no. Don't do it. Do I need to stop playing this route right now? Oh god. Well, my work was finally done, so I started heading over to the Francesca Manor. Out of nowhere, one of the guys came running up to me like all hell was breaking loose. Oh, thank god. What's wrong, Pietro? Did something happen? Well, we got a real problem! I practically stopped breathing at the news. I'll go let Nicola know. You go and tell the higher-ups to stay away from the manor. I ran off as soon as I told him. I thought for sure with Leo, it was gonna be fucking like Yang coming out of nowhere, and I was like, if fucking Yang kills Leo, I'm gonna be so pissed. He already killed Oliver, okay? You cannot take Leo away from me. Leo is precious and innocent. You don't hurt the innocent, sweet little puppy. Okay, he's my bestie. I'm not in love with him like a love interest. Like, I don't... Nah. He's my best friend and you don't hurt him, okay? He's too precious. It's an emergency, Nicola! The Falzone Manor's been hit! What? Leo had burst into the living room with his report. It looks like it's some priest in a black robe. He tampered with the phone lines and cars, but we got our guys moving on foot to spread the word. Amid the chaos of his report, a vivid image of the culprit came to mind. Understood. Let's get going. Check to make sure our cars are still working. Right! He tampered with all the cars. Like, damn. The last thing I wanted was for Nicola to leave now when he was still recovering. I also understood well enough that he had no choice but to go. And if the culprit was who I thought it was, let me go too. Space. Teo could be the one attacking the manor. If so, I want to talk to him. Yeah, he won't hurt me. Understood. But promise me that you'll stay by my side. Your safety is most important. Will. We hurried out of the manor together. Me throwing myself in front of Dante and Nicola, and he's like, what are you doing? And you're like, you're not gonna kill my boyfriends! Get the hell out! No one invited you to the man harem, Teo! Your goons aren't even worth my time. Ah! He didn't scream, but I just imagined. I cut down anyone foolish enough to attack me, using their bodies to shield myself. It was a pain going up against all these firearms. I needed to hurry and get rid of Dante Falzone, but... not a chance. Orlock wouldn't let me near the injured Dante. Since his movements were restricted to the area where Dante was, I had the advantage. But this disciple wouldn't be an easy opponent. I couldn't strike my target without being struck myself. If only he'd just try to escape with Dante. I'd stab them both from behind. Smart. Boss, please move back! I'll cover you! One of his mindless mooks stepped forward in all his bravado to cover Dante. Not only him, but all the other soldiers continued to shoot at me relentlessly. I needed to find an opening where I could move through the barrage of bullets. There. I quickly charged toward the soldier who'd stepped in to protect Dante. Ah! I broke his arm, twisting it to fire the gun in his hand at Dante. Well, that's a bold move! Orlock quickly pushed Dante away from the line of fire. It's precisely the reaction I had hoped for. I quickly shoved the soldier to the side, rushing within striking range of the disciple. Thrust my knife into his chest. Guess I missed your heart. Good. Even I knew the wound was deep enough to slow his pace considerably. If he didn't stop fighting, he'd most certainly die. This would work. I could finally kill the mighty disciple. Once I was done with him, it'd be easy to finish off the family's boss, Dante Falzone. I don't even think Johann could kill Orlock, so I don't trust you to be able to do it. Things were finally going my way. Until I show up. Teo! Like, damn it! Oh, not the girl I wish was my girlfriend. His eyes widened in surprise at my appearance. The corridor was covered in blood. I could tell immediately that Dante and Orlock were severely injured. Nicola's gun was pointed at Teo as though telling him not to move. Teo, why are you doing this? Because this is all I can do. Huh? Couldn't fathom what he meant. My eyes searched for any semblance of his intentions. Teo's eyes were just as fixed upon me. The government will resort to extreme measures to dismantle the Burlone Mafia. At this rate, you will be captured too. If I can get rid of the Falzone family, then at the very least I'll be able to protect their loved ones from persecution. I need you two to die, Dante Falzone and Nicola Francesca. But, although he had revealed his true objective, I was having difficulty processing it. Are you telling me you're going to kill Dante and Nicola for me? You have no future if you stay with the Falzone for much longer. Times are changing. Those who are unable to adjust to those changes will be left behind. That mafioso next to you will betray you soon enough. He's hurt and he used others for his own ends, which is why I need to... Wait, Teo! I told you before I trusted Nicola. I don't want him to die. So if you're doing this for me, please just stop. And I love Dante too. Can't kill him. She chose Nicola, not me. I mean, I barely know you, so I shouldn't be surprised. I haven't told her who I am. Can't bring myself to tell her. Oh my god, are you supposedly my brother? Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you my brother? And there's no chance of her choosing me. I couldn't tell her we were family. Oh my god! When he said he had a little sister and you're like, your hair and your eyes are like mine. I didn't get it then. I was just like, okay, that's weird. Whatever. Well, because we never knew our families, so like, but that makes sense. Which is why I needed to make sure her life wouldn't be twisted by some brief love affair. I needed to make sure she wouldn't needlessly suffer at the hands of others. I mean, because, like, again, we don't know our family, so it wouldn't be surprising that we had siblings. You know what I mean? And we were chosen as the key maiden, so we would have been kept away from them. I held my weapon tightly and in one breath leapt toward her supposed lover. Listen to her, Teo! Shut up! He avoided my strike by the skin of his teeth, then sent a kick flying toward me. A kick flying toward me, not a flying kick. Anyway, move was definitely well practiced. I used both arms to block his kick, grabbing his leg before he could pull it back. Nicola managed to maintain his balance, pointing his gun straight at me. I let go, thrusting my knife toward his heart before he could pull the trigger. Nicola! Her anguished scream rang in my ears. My blade failed to hit its mark. Instead, it was knocked aside as I held onto it tightly. In between us was Orlock, still on the verge of death. Teo, to ask you something. The one who killed His Excellency, Joseph von Rosberg. Did you torture him to extract information about the relic? Yes, that's correct. It's me. Orlock was gritting his teeth. A murderous flash appeared in his eyes. The eyes that looked so much like mine. Is Orlock our brother too? Because that makes our relationship gross. Suddenly, he vanished. No. And there was no way any human could possibly vanish in an instant. I looked down to see him crouched, moving with a speed that defied the ability of mortals. I saw his eyes one final time as his dagger sunk deep into my chest. That's all it took. Right away that he had taken my life. Maybe that was why. Last person I looked at was Space. I reached my hand out to her without realizing it, closed it in a weakened fist. I let her find out. She's so stupid. She would probably just feel sorry for me. I needed to die as a stranger to her. That would be the right thing to do. I do like the fact that we've gotten a little bad and we're like, oh, now we know a little bit of his reasonings. But I want to know more now, you know? I felt like Teo was purposely looking at me. He fell to the floor, blood pouring out of his chest, and I knew his heart was punctured. His fingertips were absolutely still as he lay on the floor, undeniably dead. Orlock stood in a stupor, still clutching his dagger as Teo's blood soaked his hands. Everyone, go help the injured at once! At Nicola's orders, the soldiers began to move with great haste. I returned to my senses and rushed over to Dante and Orlock to tend to their wounds. Okay, like, Teo's a douche, but he's a good twatty character, you know, and he's a good antagonist. But now, knowing this, you're like, I kind of love the sadness behind him dying without us knowing that he's like our fucking brother. Probably brother, I'm assuming. He said family, so, you know. Like, I kind of love it. And I'm sure we'll find out more in Dante's route, and then afterward, like, because, like, you know, before in the other routes, it doesn't make sense to kind of know that about him because, you know, we're not the Key Maiden anymore type of shit. So, but, like, here we are, so it makes sense that, like, he's more involved in these ones. So I'm sure we'll find out more in Dante's route, too, but it's like, there's kind of, like, a sadness. You're like, oh, he didn't even get to tell, and we didn't even find out, like, oh, there's a little sadness there. Like, it's sad. But I kind of like it, you know? A few days passed since Teo's attack. Dante and Orlock were at the Francesca Manor recovering from their injuries. We still have to worry about Yang! I was sitting alone on a sofa in the living room, thinking about all that had happened. Meanwhile, story hatred. I couldn't tell you anything when you asked me to investigate Teo's background because Emilio told me to keep it a secret. I understand you have your own secrets to keep. I assume there'd be some things you couldn't divulge. But now that you've disclosed your role as a disciple, I may as well ask you again. You have knowledge far beyond my own. Must know exactly how he's related to her. So you know he's related to me. After I had told him everything I knew, Nicola left the room. I kept myself sitting up in bed as I remembered that moment. He's like, after I told him everything, but you're not telling us! I kind of love it. The game's like, nah. Keep guessing for a little while. You had the perfect opportunity and you didn't give it to us. I love it, you beautiful bastard torturing us, not telling us. How dare you, game? Good job. Are you the one who killed His Excellency Joseph von Rosberg? Did you torture him to extract information about the relic? Yes, that's correct. It was me. I never felt so much rage in my life. Excellency. The one who took me in. He's also your dad, right? Like, for legits. Pious man who was as strict on me as he was on himself. His very existence meant the world to me. I've lost him. And the thing is like, Orlock loved him like a father, but wasn't he his actual fucking father? Didn't we learn that in the first game? But it's not clear in all the routes, but it's like... So, like, it makes sense. Orlock is like, you basically killed his dad. Like, literally. Like, hatred was the only reason I killed Teo. Nothing to do with my mission as a disciple. My life I'd only killed in the name of faith, as I was ordered to. The first time I actually killed someone as I wanted to. Well, you kind of had to, too, because he was going to kill us, so... I was sitting alone on a sofa in the living room, thinking about all that had happened. I still don't know anything about Teo. Why did he do all that for me? A few more days passed. One night, Nicola and I went out to a restaurant in Felce. Gil had invited us to dinner and reserved the entire place for just us. Sorry. I was going to say just for us, but it's for just us. But see, that's a weird sentence. Gil invited us to dinner. He reserved the entire place for just us. But for some reason, naturally in my brain, I want to say reserve the entire place just for us. Not for just us. It's the same thing, but it's like, it just sounds weird. I don't know. My brain doesn't want to read it the right way. An attack on the fell zone must have been really something. It was. I appreciate your concern, Gilbert. I think we're fine now. Well, we took a hit, but at least Dante came out of it safely. Gil took a sip of his red wine, continuing in his usual relaxed way. Also, we still have to worry about Yang, so kind of fucked if he shows up. You might be interested to know this juicy tidbit. The military police are on the move. It's about time. Of course, can't say for sure when exactly they'll come a-calling, but we don't have much time left to make ourselves scarce. Facing the military police is something we have to avoid. If it were possible, I would have loved to get rid of Yang before that, but... Nicola paused for a moment, choosing his words carefully. I'm sure you have your own grudge to settle with Yang. I wouldn't want to steal your chance at revenge if I could help it. Truth is, Yang said that he'd kill Dante in space once I'm gone. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was my fault for leaving my post, and that's how Yang escaped our siege against the Lao Shu last year. Which is why I want to take responsibility. I want to kill Yang with my own hands. After a moment of silence, Gil chuckled. Now about first come, first served. It'll just be a matter of who finds Yang first, you or me. And if you fail, Nicola, I'll make sure he pays dearly. There's no need to worry. I won't be dying. I can't afford to die now for my own reasons. Oh! Well, aren't you all grown up now? Nicola's like, Gil, you're younger than me. They might be around the same age. Seeing Gil's smile deepen with amusement, Nicola seemed to barely suppress a frown. Gilbert, I always wanted to tell you how pompous you are for someone younger than me. I was like close enough in age, but still younger. That's funny. I couldn't help but laugh at their exchange as our next course was served. Honestly, Gil comes across as the oldest. Because there's just something about him, just his like clothing, his like everything. He just does have an air of like someone that's slightly older. There's a more maturity in him, you know. But not really, you know what I mean? But still, he just seems like he'd be slightly older than them. Like, I don't know. I couldn't help but laugh at their exchange. Oh, I read that, sorry. That concluded any talk about work, and we spent the rest of the evening enjoying a delicious meal together. I like how we're just like thruples in all of this. After dinner, I returned to my room without Nicola. He had some business to discuss with Dante and went to see him in the guest room where Dante was staying. As for me, I got dressed in my sleeping gown and prepared to go to sleep. I mean, we're almost at time, but I kind of want to see this. Dante was still recovering, but insisted on sitting up in his bed while we talked. You sure? Yes. It's fine. And there was no other way, is there? If that's the case, I must make the decision that'll protect what's important. Of course, I regret that I'll have to leave you with the burden of carrying it out. Dante looks so sad. She just want to pet his little head and tell him everything's fine. This isn't my only problem. His choice affects the fate of the Falzone family. If Dante didn't agree, then my only other option would have been to give up and accept whatever happened as a result. However, Dante calmly accepted my suggestion without getting upset in the least. I suppose I still see him as a child and treat him as one too. He's not that much younger than you! You become a fine boss, Dante. Is that sarcasm? I'm far from what anyone would consider fine right now. Those wounds are badges of honor, boss. After all, your duty has always been to survive. Dante's like, are you being sarcastic? Do I look fine to you? Anyway. We're going to stop here and talk about the rest of this in the next part, which, I mean, I feel like we have at least one more part, maybe two. We might get the ending in the next part because we're in chapter 6, you know, so we'll see what happens, but anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.